Hello and welcome to Stories That Shape Us. My name is Joanna Daniel. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is, I'm going to introduce you to her rather in a moment. And I'm asking you to, lean in, pull up a chair, get your pen and paper because today is going to be really special. So I'm going to introduce you now to our guest today, who is Shawty Thompson. Shawty has, if you've been around Wounds to Scars for a while, you may recognize her face because you spoke for us at one of our conferences online in 2020.
Around
Or was
there.
it 2019? One of those
19. Mm-hmm.
2019, yes. So Shawty is a divorced mother of two after being married for 10 plus years and getting through her own healing journey. She found Brand New Me, um, which focuses on helping women to heal and grow using the blueprint she developed from her own experiences and expertise. Brand New Me provides resources and education and empowerment, enabling women to reset, renew, rediscover, and redefine themselves. I love it. Shorte is also a three times author on two of her books, became bestsellers. Brand New Me, The Pursuit of Wholeness, and Brand New Me, Complemented and Completed and Whole. As a restoration expert, Shorte provides coaching and consulting, helping women detox after significant breakup and transition through the healing journey, enabling them to live boldly, rather, humbly, authentic, with the tools to identify and cultivate healthier relationships with themselves and with others.
Yes.
And I love it as I'm reading it because this is so important, such important work that you do, Shorte, helping women to rediscover and redefine
Mm-hmm.
themselves after a divorce. So tell us, what is the Brand New Me journey? Give us a little bit of a
Brand new
in
me journey, definitely. It's about getting to the core of who we are and growing through everything that we experience, right? It's having our past not define us, right?
Mhm.
It's taking lessons so we can actually humbly, authentically be the best version of ourselves and know that that's a lifelong journey, right? So we can continuously grow as we learn daily to be the best version of ourselves.
Yeah. I love it, having the past not define us, because sometimes the past can, isn't it? Because the people in our past will tell us things and those stories can help us form a view of ourselves that isn't true.
Yes, it can ruminate for us, right? It's where it's constantly playing back in our minds, and it can have us start to believe that we are less than what we really are, right?
Mm,
So with that now, we can start to lose confidence in our abilities. So it's
yeah.
so important that we start doing some work to see who we
Yeah.
are and our worth. I know in my marriage I lost my voice, right?
Yes.
Because I was emotionally abused, right? And then from there I started to not even think that I can do as much like in every other arena and work and I can do so much, but once it comes to being home, right? I just didn't believe that my voice mattered, that my feelings were enough to be able to get things moving. So
Mm,
I myself went to therapy and I started to do the work on myself so I can show up differently. I can be the best version for my kids. I can be the best for myself. So I started to believe in myself and I got my voice back to be able to
oh
step
wow.
step do more.
I love it because you said I lost my voice. Is the Brand New Me journey helping some women finding their voice again, being able to even know what it sounds like?
Know what it sounds like, having them rediscover who they are, because as women, we are nurturers. As women, we take care of everyone else and kind of ourselves go on the back burner, right?
True.
So the brand new me journey is where we can start to date ourselves. We can start to go back into our old hobbies, our new hobbies, different things, so we can start to see, oh, I really like that. I can
Mhm.
really see that this is a part of who I am. I like to do an activity with folks asking them, who are you? Without saying mother, without saying wife, without saying employee, like whatever job you do, right? Who are you? right? And many times we're baffled because, okay, I'm a mother, this is a part of my identity, right? But when I can open up their mind to see I am outgoing, I am soft spoken, I am social, I'm an artist, right?
Mm,
Now you can start to see that, okay, I have all these different parts of me that are alive and that
yeah.
matter.
Yeah. Well, so important because those parts are sometimes, as you said, I was doing something with some women, I think a couple of weeks ago, and I did that. It was around identity, and I said, "Who are you?" And I sent them a self-discovery workbook that I have, and I said, "You can't say mother and you can't say wife," and it gets
Hmm.
so many people stuck
Hmm.
um, after that because lots of times when we're married or when we're relationships, we're parents, we've wrapped ourselves up so much in these roles that we don't know who we are after that. And when these
Hmm.
relationships end, it can be a real challenge, especially when there was abuse.
Right,
I,
exactly.
what could you tell a woman at the beginning of that journey? She's at the beginning, it's challenging. What could you say? What would you say to her? How what are some of the things that she can do, like a first step to start to navigate this new terrain?
Definitely. I would say the very first thing is grant yourself grace,
Mm.
right? It's so easy to be very hard on ourselves, to just feel like I should have done different, I should have made different choices, I should all, and that can just put us down into a hole, right? So the first thing first is grant yourself grace, right? And then from there, give yourself permission to be who you really want to be, to not have to be so super perfect, to not have to have all the answers, right? Seek help. Make sure that you go to therapy, that you're able to learn what's the difference between processing and coping skills,
Oh
right? So
wow.
you're able to utilize both of those, right? And then have a really good support system, right? And then with your support system, let them know what you don't want to hear about, right? Because many times our friends and family might think that they're helping us by giving us all this information about this person that we're no longer with, and that's not helpful, right?
Yeah.
Or their family or what they're doing, or or bashing them. Like that's not going to be helpful, right?
Mm,
So being very protective of your peace and having people that can be healthy distractions for you.
mm. Oh, that's good. Protective of your peace. You don't want to hear the information. It's okay. You're focusing on you, and you're going to, as you rediscover and redefine you.
Mhm,
Um, because sometimes people think the information that they give is helpful. And guess what I saw? And guess what they're
mhm.
doing now? And they post this on social media, which isn't helpful.
Not at
You
all.
said grant yourself grace,
Mhm.
give yourself permission, but you also said, and I love it. Uh, I think Shante left the stream. I was going to say Shante talked about coping versus processing. Knowing the difference between coping skills and processing, and going to therapy to rediscover that. She's back now, so we'll continue. I don't know what happened there, but I
Okay.
was saying you mentioned that going to therapy, which I advise, which I think is a really good it's a good way to go externalize and understand and be able to move forward. But you say to learn the difference between processing and coping skills. Why is that important?
Well, that's super important. So, okay, let me help us unpack this, right? Many times we are told that we need to use healthy coping skills, right? So first, let's kind of define healthy and unhealthy coping skills, right? Unhealthy coping skills might be drinking, drugs, sexual encounters, right?
Mm,
Um, Going places that we know is not good for us. Those are unhealthy distractions or unhealthy coping skills. Healthy coping skills might be watching a really funny show, talking to friends and not talking about the issue, but it's distracting you from it, right? Doing
yeah,
arts, doing different things that's going to take your mind off of the issue, and it's going to put you in a really happy place, a peaceful place, a place that's going to feel good and it's not harming you in any way, right?
yeah.
So those are healthy coping skills. I like to call them healthy distractions, right?
Healthy
So
distractions.
now we need to make sure that we are processing still. And to process means that we are unpacking, right? We are identifying what took place, what hurt us, why it hurt us, what type
Mm,
of things do we want to do differently? How can we get the tools to do it differently? How can we look at it? What lessons can we take? Right? That's all a part of processing and unpacking. Now,
mm.
it's heavy. It's heavy to do that, right?
It's a
So if we are constantly just unpacking, then our heart's going to hurt, our body's going to feel overwhelmed. We're not going to have the energy to do the responsibilities that we need to do. So it
mm,
needs to be a balance of unpacking and healthy coping skills, unpacking and healthy coping skills, right? So intertwine your healthy distractions with your processing and know that you don't have to process forever, right? Think about all the things I said that is processing, which is again, identifying what's going on, why it happened, how can you show up differently, what do you need differently, what are you going to do, what did you learn, right? When you work through all of those things for whichever concern, that's processing, and then you can go to the other side of it now.
mm. Oh, as you weave your healthy distractions in between your processing, that's the path to get to, the rediscover and redefining and getting you go process and you come home and watch the comedy and laugh,
Hmm.
and that provides joy, for you. I love that. I have this visual, journey in my mind because that's how I think in images. So this visual journey of moving, because I think there's a lot of people that may be watching this now, maybe not at the beginning of the journey, but fear stops them from doing this journey,
Hmm.
or even sometimes I think doing it well, better than they are, because sometimes not coping so well, not doing this, the work of rediscovering and redefining and living a full a
Hmm.
life as they could, which I find sometimes fear stops it. There's a lot of things that it's complex, as you know, a lot of
Yes.
things. But I think I want our audience listening to know that there is light, that you can walk this journey, and that you can do the rediscovering and, redefining, and it's worth it. What would you say to somebody who's afraid of the journey? They're there, but they're still afraid
Afraid of
of.
the journey. I mean, we're all scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
Right? So, first of all, know that you're not alone, right? Everything that you are feeling and experiencing, there are other folks that have experienced the same exact thing. But think about the outcome, think about the end goal of what you really want, and know that it is an arm's length. You can accomplish it, you can get it. So it's about putting one foot in front of the other, not
Yeah.
looking at big and the gigantic elephant and saying, "How can this ever happen? I can't even eat the whole elephant whole." But taking it
Mm.
bite by bite, step by step, one foot
Mhm.
in front of the other to be able to get where you eventually want to go.
Yeah, one foot in front of the other. I think it's you I learned this from. Like, how do you eat an elephant? Just one
Mhm.
bite at a time. I learned that from you. I use it all the time because I think
Yes.
it's such a good image. As I was listening, I'm thinking of the woman who, because people are sometimes shamed
Mhm.
for a breakup, shamed that the marriage ended and it didn't work out. You suddenly don't have a community anymore. You're blamed sometimes, and it's that status that comes with being in a relationship that we sometimes lose. And I don't know why society does it. Like suddenly
Mhm.
you're not Mrs. anymore and you've lost something. And in that place of grief, because there's grief anyway, but
Mhm.
you lose a lot of people. You lose friends
Yeah.
that you thought were friends. Um, Other people's opinion help to shape people's view of how they do the journey. Do you find that?
I mean, that's life, right? Other people's opinions
Yeah.
are it's always where it depends on our own self-esteem if it's going to matter to us what other people are saying. And
Mm.
the brand new me journey helps you to get to a place where you are not focused on what everyone else is thinking and
Wow.
feeling about you. You are comfortable in your own skin. that you're able to show up as your authentic self. And the people that love you. And the people that don't. And it's okay.
That's
Right?
okay.
I have a ring that is my ring that helps me to show this to my clients to let them know that when I bought this ring, I bought it because it was my I love me. I am enough ring, right? And the design of it, you either love it or you don't like it very much, right? It's very, very, very unique. It has like different colors. It's teal, it's gold, and it's white gold, right? So it has all of these different uniqueness to it. And when people see it, they either say, "Oh, that's such a nice ring," and other people see it, they say, "Oh, okay." And no matter what, I'm good because
Yeah.
I
Because
love
you
it,
like it. Yeah.
right? So it's about for ourselves getting to a place where we are so comfortable in our skin that it's okay. Our
Mhm.
people are our people. And the people that are for us, they're going to be for us and they're going to accept you because of who you are. And that's good.
Yeah, they're going to accept you. Your people will be your people, and they will accept you just for who you are. And when I say to people that they're people, that will be your people, and you'll find them. And
Mhm,
sometimes at the beginning, it doesn't feel like you will because you've lost so
mhm,
much, and you're in mourning. But you will find people who are yours, and it you just talked about another layer that exists when we are worried about what other people will think, and so we struggle with the journey or not start. And you said self-esteem.
mhm,
How can a woman, knowing that, oh, that's me? I remember when I was in counseling many years ago, and my counselor showed me some words, and she said, John, she was this nice, gentle woman, and she said, these words are, when people see you this way and you see yourself this way, it is low self-esteem. I was not happy with her.
mhm.
Like, what? How dare you say to me? But I kept those words for years in a book I
Mhm,
read because
mhm,
I'm like, whoa, she sees me this way and I don't. So you just talked about another layer of self-esteem,
mhm.
which gets impacted when we're in abusive relationships, or
Mhm.
sometimes, so that's a layer that needs to be, is that a layer? Let me ask you a question. Is that a layer sometimes that women have to heal as they're doing the brand new me journey?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. That I mean, self-esteem, self-confidence, all of that is very important. And
Yeah.
um, we can lose that by so many different things that can happen in our life. So it's about rediscovering self and
Hmm.
learning to love all of self, right? Flaws and all, right? So that's why I like to say imperfectly perfect, right?
Perfect.
Or perfectly imperfect. I'm sorry, perfectly imperfect, right? So we love ourselves with flaws and all, right? And then I do an activity to help folks see, okay, there are things that you don't like too much about yourself. What can you do to improve that? And other
Mm,
things that you don't like too much, but you can accept it, right? So we start to do the work to start to say, okay, you can be the version of you that you really want.
yeah. You can be the version of you that you really want. And sometimes we have to see that for people, isn't it? See the version that they can't see yet and help guide them to that place. So as Shawty had said earlier, therapy helps guide you to that place where somebody else can see the version of you that maybe right now you can't see for yourself, but she's there. She's
Mhm,
there. Uh,
mhm,
in our perfectly imperfect journey, as we're in this brand new me journey, there's another fear that I wanted us to talk about before we go. The fear of, and maybe women at different stages, it's this fear: will I ever be able to love again, or find somebody who loves me, or do relationships? Will I be able to trust again? I don't want to make the same mistakes. I know you have a tool that you use with people who are thinking about this. I don't want to make the same mistakes. I keep attracting the same kind of people, and I don't want to do
mhm.
that anymore. Tell us about this assessment tool.
Definitely. Thank you so much for asking. This is the relationship risk assessment, right? And the relationship risk assessment helps you to reduce the risk of heartbreak. All right. So it's in my book, Brand New Me, Complimented, Completed, and Whole. So it's in this book, right? But it's also a freebie on my website. So if you go to my website, brandnewmejourney.com, and you scroll down to join the mailing list and get newsletters, because every week I do provide blogs and content for you, right? But you actually get a free relationship risk assessment. And basically what this does is it helps you to start having the needed conversations. All right?
Yeah.
It helps you to dig a little bit deeper to see um, to make sure that you're on the same page when it comes to learning from your past, setting certain boundaries, how you feel about like sex or finances or spiritual beliefs. It has you be able to take note of red flags and take note of anger and how it shows up in stress and even the way that they their loved ones and their children, and like making sure that you're paying attention to the
Mm,
patterns right in front of you so you don't get stuck dating a representative all
mm.
over again, right? And it's just this different person with the same face. I mean, different face but the same type of person. I'm all mixed up today, right? So the relationship risk assessment can definitely help you with
So good. Not we don't want to do the different person with the same different person with the same face, or how you put it, because I'm mixed up now too.
that.
But it's so important to ask those really crucial questions, and sometimes we don't think about those questions. We don't think we don't know how to ask
Mhm.
them. We don't know how to ask them, but now you're getting a tool that will help you to ask those questions, so you don't have to be afraid of stepping out again. Or so you've done your journey, you're rediscovering yourself, you're redefining who you are and what you want, and loving on yourself again. Your self-esteem is being rebuilt, and you're confident in who you are, and you're not afraid now to say, okay, because I have this tool that's going to help me to understand some more about what I want. Now, Shotty, as you know, our community is mostly Christian women, and
Mhm.
I wanted to add this in because as you were talking about the risk assessment, I thought, don't pray if you see something on the risk assessment that is believe it.
Mhm. Please.
Believe the thing that you see on the risk assessment, because I hear somebody say this on a podcast, Shorty, that you can't love someone enough to heal their trauma. I'm paraphrasing now, because
Mhm.
if it is there, it is there. If the assessment shows it that it's a risk, it's a risk.
Right, very much so. Now, you can use this tool to have healthier relationships, right? Like, let's say it's a new relationship. It is going to be a higher risk, right?
Yeah,
But basically, do like have these conversations that the risk assessment is saying to have, right? And then from there, like everything that you had a 3 or 2 on, have those conversations, right? But
yeah.
then in 6 months, take the risk assessment again.
Mm.
If it's still a high
I think
risk,
the
it's 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 time to run.
yeah.
Am I there? Did you hear everything?
It just broke because you said have the conversation, but in 6 months,
Retake the risk assessment again. And if it's
right?
still a high risk, it's time to run.
Time. Right. So in the beginning, because the relationship is new, it might be a certain thing. So talk about those areas that the risk
Mhm.
assessment flags up. And if it continues in this period of time, then you know that it's time to go. Don't fast, don't pray, don't call a friend. It is plain. The pattern, trust the pattern, trust the pattern.
Thank you. Please do.
But if wherever you are on this journey of exploring you, I think everybody should take this journey. Everybody. Sometimes it might be fearful to take the journey if you're in a relationship, if you're already married. Like, can I rediscover me? I think we all need that journey of
Mhm.
rediscovery and redefining and just getting to know who we are. I think
Yes.
it's really that journey we could all do with that journey, because it's so freeing.
Mhm.
It's freeing to know, to hear your own voice, to know your voice, to be able to express yourself, and to be able to love yourself. Identify your circle. So wherever you are, take the journey. I'm going to put Shawte's details below this video or in the show notes on Spotify and Apple. Take the risk assessment. If you're at the place where you are, you've just come out of a breakup and you're wanting to know, well, who am I? You're just looking around and trying to rediscover yourself again. Where can people find you, Shawte, if they want to learn more, talk to you some more? Where can they find you?
Definitely. You can find me on Instagram, which is at Chaute Thompson, CHAUTE THOMPSON. You can find me on Facebook, which is Brand New Me Journey. I also have Let's Parent, so a nice parent community for support. And you can find me on my website, brandnewmejourney.com.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I follow, I just watched a video that you posted. I was talking to you about it, connection, and we know that that's an issue. So, whichever stage you're on, whatever you're doing, she'll have something that can help you. Thank you for coming to talk to us about on stories that shape us about this part of the journey, because the stories that people tell themselves about starting over can be so damaging, because not that it's their story, but stories from other people
Hmm.
that influence how we see ourselves and the decision that we feel like we can make or not make. So thank you for coming. Go and take the relationship risk assessment. I'm going to put the link below the video so that it can inform conversations and it can inform you moving forward. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Stories That Shape Us. I hope you'll join me on the next story.
Take care.